Oh, hi folks, hope you're well, and hope you can hear me okay. Well, this video, I just want to have a switch of topics this evening. Sick and tired of talk about conspiracies. Well, not really, only kidding. I want to talk about the finer things in life, though, about the world outside and the world inside. And being a flat earther myself, yeah, I know if you want to switch off, I don't mind, but hey, I'm a flat earther. Because I see the world. I report back um, in my own mind what I see, and I see a flat horizon. Quite frankly, I don't see it curving at all, unless I'm looking through an aircraft window or a GoPro lens. I just see the horizon flat, and I see that the sea is flat. And when I fly, I use an artificial horizon, which is dead horizontal. What a surprise! There's no curvature in the little ball. It's a little cross of an aeroplane wing. It's staggering to me that people think we live on a ball. It's easily done though, isn't it? Because look into my eyes. Ever since we were 5 years old, here's a globe. But I still want to find out if anybody would know. I wish they would tell me. But why is it that we're told this monumental, biggest lie ever, that we live on a ball? To what end, you see? Does it really matter whether we're living on a flat plane or a ball? I fail to see what benefits there are in lying to the world's population that we live on a ball, when it's patently obvious to all natural things that we live on a flat plane. And, well, I'm still trying to figure it out. But to what end then? What benefits, if it's not the flat plane, what are the benefits that come with telling us we live on a ball? Well, because it's absolutely opposite to what our Creator, the Elohim, talked about. At what stage in our ancient history was it ever mentioned that we live on a ball? It was just assumed that we lived on a flat plane and everybody was happy with that, thanks very much. And along came this Catholic Church thing, didn't it? And it does make me laugh and titter to myself when you hear the bullshit. It's almost like, if we can get the dickheads out there convinced that we live on a ball, despite all the ridiculous arguments for it and against it, we can sell them anything. Get the suckers believing we live on a ball, and then everything else will be child's play. And isn't that so? Oh yeah, general public believe everything. You see, you tell a lie often enough, in Hitler's words, and the suckers soon believe it. We live on a ball, we live on a ball, we live on a ball. They even poured liquid lead down people's throats whenever they contested that idea, didn't they? Because it was fundamentally the Jesuits that started this nonsense when they go around the world torturing people and pouring lead down their throats, even children, this loving church called the Catholics, Knights Templars, etc. It just makes you want to throw up to realise that. Well, I'm very proud to say, you're on a winner because you're a minority. And even if you're a minority of one, the truth is still the truth. So I really don't care how many people take the piss about me believing I'm a flat earther. I'm not really embarrassed about it at all. It was something that's actually, even in the greatest story ever told, we don't live on a ball, folks. It's not mentioned in any ancient biblical text or text that's been discovered thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. It's made no bloody difference to anybody anyway, has it? You see, this is why all our geometry and all our mathematics is geared, and our structural engineering is all geared. There's no accounting for the curvature of the earth in engineering. There is none. Okay? Bridges, they don't account for the curvature of the world. because there isn't any. When you cut a canal from 30 miles, Suez Canal, Panama Canal, there's no accounting for the curvature of the earth. There isn't. When you build a railway track from south of England to the north of Scotland, there's no accounting on the rail for the curvature of the earth. None. Okay, there is no Coriolis effect either. You know, when an aeroplane is landing, it doesn't have to side slip to take into account the movement of the earth. If you stand up and then jump up into the air and land back down again, the fact is you're not travelling 1,600 miles an hour free fall, are you? You're not. You'll land exactly where you jump off from, folks. You are static. The world is still. And it is the moon and the sun that go around us. This is basic stuff, and yet people are in denial because people don't want to be ridiculed, that's all. They know the facts are there in front of their very eyes. They don't want to accept that the sun and the moon are the same size, and they are about 37 miles high up that way. Yeah. Unbelievable. Actually, they're 37 miles wide, beg your pardon. They're about 600 miles high. And they're within the firmament. Tides. Well, if the moon is only 35 miles wide, same as the sun, by the way, how come it affects our tides? Well, it doesn't affect our tides. The moon has nothing to do with our tides. Because if it's the big pull of the moon and the gravity in the moon, God, it's basic stuff, isn't it? How come then that the water on this earth isn't attracted, the plain water, the water with no salt in it? Yes, the stuff we can drink. And the non-salt lakes of our world, and there are some big ones, they don't have tides. No, tides have got nothing to do with the planetary movement, folks, none. And they're not at all influenced by the moon. The moon has no influence on our tides. It's the supersaline levels, that's all. And you can do your own research on supersaline, under the sea. It's just crazy that people still believe that we live on a ball after all the evidence. You see, people say, well, all the other planets are balls. Not necessarily so. Because all you can perceive as Jupiter and Mars and Uranus, they're just gas balls. That's just a ball of gas. And there's crap that we land on the moon and land on the moon. That's another piece of crap. We land on Mars. We've put buildings on Mars. We've put men on Mars as home away teams going to Mars. Do you really? Can you truly grasp how far Mars is away? It's all CGI, computer-generated images, folks. That's all it is. The nebula, the Horsehead Nebula that you see in all the astronomy books, is just an artist's rendition. That's all it is. It's just utter nonsense we're expected to believe. Well, if they believe this, Charlie, we can sell them anything. It's like, you may as well pick up a paintbrush and go, splat, splat, splat. There you go, that's our galaxy, that is. Oh, really? But if we've got so many, so many opportunities out there, yeah, how come nobody's come? Perhaps we're not worth visiting. If we look, we're not going. Can imagine the Martians talking about humans. It's almost like that Cadbury's Ash ad that used to have little robots on talking about how ridiculous it was to have to peel potatoes and smash them to bits after boiling them to make mashed potato. The little robots would say, and they smashed them to pieces, ha ha ha. It was so true, wasn't it? human beings are such idiots, that they'll believe anything you see. You tell them often enough, and you get some jerks who pass themselves off as scientists, leading lights, Illuminati, the illuminated ones, and you pay them enough, they'll lie enough, just like a bloody parrot. That's all they are, folks. They're repeating parrots. Lie after lie after lie. And if you suddenly latch on to the fact is that they are lying and then put the truth in your exam results, you'll fail the exam because you buck the system. It's, you either go with the tide if you're with us, or you're against us. This belief that there are such things as, in excess of 100,000 satellites bombing around in outer space around the Earth. Dream on. No, there aren't. Any satellites are in low Earth orbit and they're hanging on a helium balloon. Okay? They're not whizzing round around the garden. Alright? They are absolutely flat. And they sit suspended like a light bulb from a ceiling. It's ludicrous. People say, look, it's on satellite. There's the dishes that you see on the side of houses for satellite navigation. They're not pointing to outer space. They're not, folks. Honestly, they're not. They're not pointing direct up or 45 degrees. They're pointing that way to the next repeater station. Because we have repeater stations, it's like pass the parcel. Okay, it's not satellite television at all. It's like sat-nav. There isn't sat-nav. There is no satellite navigation. It is bouncing signals off the Earth's ionosphere. And that's how you can talk to the other side of the world, not underneath you, but the other side of the world, left, right, forward, back, flat plane like a flat penny, because you can bounce the signal around, bouncing it off the ceiling. Okay? Any radio ham will know that. But ultimately, apart from the universe that's outside our Earth, the magnificence of all that, what about the universe that's within us? Let's have a think about this. The divine intelligence, they call it. Well, that'd be nice to have a divine intelligence, for most people anyway. But there has to be, doesn't there? Let me ask you a question. Okay, here you are. You're going to just take, I don't know, a sweetie. Let's call it a chocolate button. Now, sadly, I can't eat chocolate because I get migraine with chocolate, but I understand the attraction. I used to like chocolate as a kid until it made me ill. But let's just say you pop a little piece of chocolate in your mouth. Okay, do you think nothing of it, do you? On to the next one. You just can't. I used to be the same with Maltesers. Just can't get enough. I love them. Sadly, they don't love me because of the chocolate. They should do bold Maltesers without the chocolate. They would be a good seller, Anyway, so you pop your little piece of chocolate in your mouth. Chew it up. Chocolate is the only food that I know of, maybe you do too, that melts at body temperature, 37 degrees. It's a perfect melting point for chocolate. Any less than that, it doesn't really want to melt, does it? But it has to reach 37 degrees. Makes you wonder whether that's why chocolate is favourite, but a marvellous, marvellous confectionery, I must confess. But you pop it in your mouth and you chew it away. And immediately you pop something in your mouth, you lose control of it, apart from, well, hopefully you haven't, but you'll understand what I mean by that is it's out of your hands, it's into your mouth and into the dark hole it goes, doesn't it? Ready to be processed by the body. This body that you abuse so often. Yeah, if you smoke or drink, but who's the intelligent one? Where is the intelligence in this world? The intelligence is within every cell of your body, and there are incredible amounts of cells. 500 billion cells, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, I think. That's a lot, isn't it? 500 billion, think about that, in your cells. But are they clever little things? You can bet your sweet ass that every cell in your body is clever. It's cleverer than you, but combined they make you. And I'm sure you're clever. But to the intelligence then, do you think intelligence stops with what humans think? No. We're allowed a little bit. We're just allowed a little bit of intelligence compared to what's truly available. Because think about this. Look at the universe galaxy of your body. Think about your body. You pop this sweetie into your mouth and you chew it up and you swallow it and it hits the digestive juices. And on the way down the hole, the tummy, it goes and it melts. And now the chemicals are all waiting for the food. Come on, bring it in, bring it on. And the food arrives, your little chocolate button arrives, or your piece of steak that you drop in there. You never know. The question on my lips is, how does it know? See? I suppose it's a little bit like that joke when Paddy is asked, it's a joke, Paddy is asked what he thinks in his opinion is the world's greatest invention. And he says the thermos flask. And the interview panel say, well, Paddy, why do you think the thermos flask is the world's greatest invention? He says, well, when you put things that are hot inside it, they stay hot for hours. Or if you put things that are cold inside it, the flask keeps them cold for hours. The big question is, chaps, how does the flask know? You see? And the same can be said for you and your body. When you pop something into your mouth and it gets digested with all the correct enzymes, okay, the digestive juices, how does the body know? It's the chemical messengers, of course. It's all chemistry. It's all mathematics. It's all chemistry. It's all biology. It's way out of our pay grade, isn't it? Christ knows. All I know is that I go to the toilet 3 times a day and I piss a lot. That's all. That's all that we care about, really, isn't it? But the real work, the real intelligence for processing food, thank Christ, is out of our hands, quite literally. How does the body know? How do the enzymes know? The food knows what it is, obviously, because food comes in basic components, ingredients, doesn't it? It goes down your gullet and suddenly your intelligence, your consciousness is expecting your body to know what to do with it. Thank Christ your body knows. Sometimes your body rejects it and you feel sick and you throw up to get it out of here because it ain't no good, no how. But the food that's good for you or whatever is tolerable, it gets processed time and time and time again throughout your life. And all the time it's on duty 24/7. There's no reason why you can't eat. Any time of the day, any second or minute of the day, you can eat and make demands upon your body, and the intelligence is never switched off. And it's not artificial, is it? It's true intelligence. There's chemical. Chemicals must have some form of consciousness. A trigger. But what triggers the trigger? It's like saying, who polices the police? What triggers the trigger to trigger? Where do you draw the line? You don't get one enzyme there responsible for breaking down starches. Oh, sod off, I've had enough today. Turn it in. Okay, go. No, they're on duty all the time. They do their business. You'll soon know if you've got a bit of a on strike going on in the old tummy department, because you either get the squits or you get the pukes. Some balance there, some chemistry has gone wrong, but chemistry has an intelligence, doesn't it? A blade of grass, an innocuous blade of grass out there. If you hold it in your hands, that's a blade of grass. But what told it it's a blade of grass? How does it know just to grow different lengths, of course, but no matter how you chop it, it always grows again. Is there any end to this grass? Is there a lifespan? This grass will take 4 mowings and that's it. You'll get a new grass. You get a new... No, the grass just continually seems to grow. Every time it's damaged, it grows again. Cut again, it grows again. It pisses me off in the summer. It slows down in the winter, gives me a break. Yeah. But it equally knows, you see. Winter's coming, I'll slow down. Slow down, boys. Right, that's it. Call it hot. Suddenly, it knows when the happy weather's coming. The flowers know, the birds and the bees know. Our body knows. But how? Who teaches the enzymes to do their job? They were born with the knowledge, weren't they? You know, you're 93% water, allegedly. So the rest of it is a mixture of, you know, minerals and all sorts of other bits and pieces. But fundamentally, you're a water bag. Your majority of you is water. And people say, water can't be intelligent. Water is, we haven't even scratched the scratch of the scratch with what we know about water. We know next to nothing about the magnificence and the properties of water. It has a memory. It's a sensitive little flower, water is. If you examine water crystals, if you have a bottle of water, 2 bottles, and you swear and you're horrible and you're cruel to that bottle of water, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, and then you say, I absolutely love you and adore you and respect you to the other bottle, and then you look at the structure of the water. When you freeze it, the crystal formations are beautiful on the ones you've been nice to, and they're a haphazard, a complete mess on the crystals of the ice formed by freezing the water you were abusive to. That's provable. That's on the internet. You can check that out. It's rather strange, isn't it? If you abuse snow and look at the snowflakes, they go, oh, I can't take it. They're sensitive little flowers. They too have a consciousness. And without consciousness, folks, on this world, there's no life. But so don't limit consciousness to just the arrogance of us human beings are conscious. Everything is a consciousness. Everything. Every cell, every inside a cell, the organelles, everything has a daddy. Inside the cell there are structures, there's mitochondria, there's other sort of things going on. It's a complete factory, a factory unit. And some of the cells have got little radars and they communicate with each other from one end of the body to the other. They must do it wirelessly. Why would they need aerials if it weren't wirelessly at a frequency we're unaware of? You see, these specific cells in our body, why would they have little wires, little aerials sticking out the top so they can communicate? Not all cells, but many cells have that specialist function. We all think it's the world of DNA and deoxyribonucleic acid or ribonucleic acid. We all think this. It's the DNA, I tell you. The DNA is just a blueprint. It is not the DNA that is influential in that respect. It's simply a plan. It's like buying an aeroplane kit and rolling out the blueprint and seeing, right, or it's a house, a map of a house, and this is going to be the house. That's your DNA. And that wall is going to be that thick, and that thing is going to be that long, and the garden's going to be that long, and the beams are going to be that big, at that angle. That's the DNA. It has a structure. But it's what you surround the DNA in that makes the difference to the outcome of the building. You see? Everybody waxes lyrical about the DNA. The DNA, it's like we're looking down this 2 Smarty tubes. We're so obsessed with DNA. If only people would listen to Dr. Bruce Lipton and realise what he's saying is absolutely so right. that it's all about consciousness. It truly is. How is it that if it weren't about consciousness, think about this, okay? Just because you can't hear it doesn't mean it's not all around us. There's a spirit world all around us. We're just not tuned in, man. Some people are. Some people hear dead bodies and dead people. Some people have the ability to communicate. But think about that. It's all about communication. But if I have quantum physics, I used to think, well, what's quantum physics? What's all that about? And then I suddenly realised it's all about this, what we're talking about now. It's all about the consciousness about physics. When certain things can't be answered, the physicists are scratching their hands thinking, oh, Jesus, I don't know what makes this work like this. What are fractals, and how is it a holographic universe, and how can snapping off a piece of a hologram make another whole? It's staggering, isn't it? How deep the rabbit hole will go. But remember what I said when you pop that little chocolate in your mouth. How does the body and the components and the chemicals of the body know what tools are required to dismantle that thing that you've put in your mouth? It knows, though, doesn't it? It makes a conscious choice. It's no good using that enzyme on a piece of meat because it's not a protein. It's a starch. So I'll send in the other lot then. Somebody is directing this. There has to be a degree of intelligence on running the human body that is so out of our knowledge base. It's the same with quantum physics. There was an experiment done where you have a strip of let's just say a strip, and you cut 2 slots in it, 3 slots, okay? No, let's just leave it at 2. I haven't got 2 slots on here, so I'll just imagine there's 2 slots down here. I've cut right through this, and that's how big it is, okay? Right through, so I can see you, right, left, right. And I shine a light from you to that slit on that side. And you would expect if I have a piece of paper here, I would see a light shining vertically on my back of my hand here. Yeah. But when nobody's looking, the light, if you aimed it down one slot, you would expect it to come out the other side of one slot. But when no one's looking, sometimes it goes through 2 slots. But the moment you observe it, it says, oh, quick, he's looking, and it goes back down to 1 slot. Okay? This is because you watching something can influence the outcome. So they have to do the experiments deep down, out of sight and out of consciousness of a human, to know there is no external influence on our thinking and influencing the outcome of the experiment. That's quantum physics. And that is such a fascinating world. Because we think, what is it now? Nearly 2020. You know, we're not far off. We think we know everything. We know nothing. We are still babies. We are still embryos. We're still fetus in our knowledge base of what's truly happening to us and what we're all about. We're scratching around. We look at the Dark Ages as though there were Dark Ages. No, they're not. We're not that far off. We still do things that should have stopped at the Dark Age, but we still do things like that now, don't we? We truly do. We've just sanitized it now. We've made it look nice and packaged it nicely, but we're still killing one another, aren't we? We still have this thing called religion. And, you know, when we don't even know. You see, this is what's irritating. We can spend millions and millions and millions of dollars, pounds, currency, on stuff that is needed off-planet, allegedly, when there's children starving. Don't you think we've got enough to worry about right on our doorstep? I mean, it's ever likely if your husband went out and spent a load of money on some trash just to placate his ego, when your kids can't have new shoes and new clothes for their school uniform, or the house needs a new roof put on it, and he goes and buys a flash car worth 80 grand. Where's his priorities? Where's the world's priorities? Well, we know what the priorities are of those who control this world, folks. Downsize the population by 3/4 fundamentally. That's 1 in 5 people. 4 out of 5 people will be killed. Georgia Guidestones. They want to downsize the world's population to a manageable 500 million. Isn't that a joke? You walk 10,000 miles before you see someone else. That's how big the world is, by the way. You can walk that long without finding another one of the 500 million, because 500 million on this planet, well, you'd have to struggle to meet thy neighbour, that's for sure. It's a big planet. You can equally put the world's population in south of Australia. The world's population. So it's hardly overcrowded, to be brutally honest with you, from a landmass point of view. Texas, another place that you can stick the world's population in without fear of overpopulating. Texas. Yeah, baby. Well, how magnificent. There's a wonderful hymn. I remember singing it at my brother's funeral, How Great Thou Art. Susan Boyle sang it as well, I think. You don't know how great you are. There's plenty of people telling you how great you're not. But few people will acknowledge that you are truly magnificent, and even accepting it yourself that you are true. Don't put yourself down. Look what you can do. Look what you can do without thinking. You can process a whole meal and then be hankering after the next meal and let it go on autopilot. But autopilot has to have algorithms or an intelligent program running it, making decisions. Okay, quantifiable decisions about don't use too much. It's like flying an aeroplane on autopilot. You know, if the nose is going down too fast at a too great an angle, the machine, the algorithm will say, no, don't exceed that angle at that speed, come back a bit, and the aeroplane will sort itself out again. It's decisions and intelligence all the time. But who programmed us? Who sat down and said the digestive juices must operate at this range of that pH, that acidity? Okay. pH stands for parts of hydrogen, folks. pH, okay, that's the acidity or alkalinity of it's how many particles, parts per million of hydrogen is in it. pH meter, acidity or alkaline, what pH is it? Yes. So there we are. But somebody somewhere sat down and designed us. And it's so beyond our comprehension. We look at the double helix, the wonders of the DNA structure, and people out there, it's DNA in it though. You think, oh, shut up, Stanley. You can barely spell DNA. Spell DNA. Oh, I can't. Sod it. You know. Ask most people. You ask most people what DNA stands for. I don't know. It's that thing in your blood, in it though. Oh, shut up. This is what bugs the hell out of me. People using words they don't understand. They're not interested. They want to see who's playing today. Who's going to play, home and away? Home or away? What colours? Is it the home match? Is it the away? What colour shall I support? Hang on, it's the lottery results coming up soon. Turnover. The big match is on today, love. Yeah. Get the beers in. That's what we're up against. One of the hardest things I had to swallow when I was growing up, and I'm occasionally very immature, quite frankly, I can be. I can go back to my youth so easy. Oh, don't you just think I could? I can act like a child if I want to. Nah. Yes, it does you good. But you know, at the end of the day, we never grow up. We just act grown up, you see, because it's all a big act. We don't go really past our 18 mentality, and 18-year-olds are not grown up. They're not cooked. And I often wonder why it is that we spend more time worrying about what's on the mantelpiece in a house above the fire when the house is falling down. Most people spend their lives rearranging the decks on the Titanic, but they don't seem to realise that the boat is sinking. We fill our heads with such trivial shit, don't we? And the truth be known is that we don't want to admit how stupid and thick and ignorant we truly are. Even the clever ones are ignorant. You see, you can find somebody who's a nuclear physicist and they will know a hell of a lot about such a little. But even nuclear physicists can do the most immature, stupid, moronic things because they lack common sense. They haven't got the sense they're born with. All they've studied is nuclear physics. Same with doctors. They get so obsessed with what they're told to learn at medical school, and these are the rules, and the cell does that, and the mitochondria does that, and the DNA does that, and the deoxyribonucleic acid there, and yada yada yada. Vitamins are good, minerals are good. Yeah. Alternative healthcare, bad. Deoxyribonucleic acid, oh my god, what about DMT then? Is that any good? Pineal gland, don't tell the bastards about the pineal gland. We don't want knowing about the natural hallucinogen that's in our pineal gland called dimethyltryptamine that'll take them to the next level. If only they can access it with their third eye in their dream state. The biggest secret ever kept is what the true purpose of our pineal gland is in our heads. And this is why the bastards want to destroy our pineal gland with sodium fluoride and shit food pollution, because they disabled our pineal glands, folks, by the time we're 6 years old by exposing us to inoculations and sodium fluoride. Yes. Which coats the inner lining of our third eye, which we usually use for dream and imagination. They don't want us dreaming imagination. They just want you fit enough to go to work, pay your taxes, grow old, drop dead, and get out of the way. Who's next? But I can tell you, once you realise the magnificence you have within your skin, you are truly magnificent. You are the greatest mechanism on the planet. So don't let anyone put you down. And don't put anyone else down. Because we've all got our song to sing, haven't we? We all have a right. Because every living creature on this earth has a right. Because a frog can do things you can't. And you can do things the frog can't. Yeah. But look at the magnificence, even of the mere maggot. 1 minute it's a maggot. Next minute it's a chrysalis. Next minute it hatches and it's a fly. And all the time it learns. And it changes its form. If it might be not a maggot, it might be a big caterpillar. Then it goes into hibernation. Who told it when? Who told it how? It just does it. It just does it, didn't it? Yeah, but it's got to find the right bush to hide in before it gets eaten by birds. It's got to have the intellect to know that, God, is that time already? I've got to go and hibernate and turn into a cocoon and sit there, and I've got to camouflage myself in case I get eaten by the birds and So a protective cocoon is made. How does it know to make it? Where's the consciousness in that? It's all intelligent design. Intelligence needs consciousness. Who's controlling this sucker? And just then it hatches at precise time, regular as clockwork at the right time, into the most beautiful butterfly. And then what? It opens and closes its wing, sits in the sun for a while, its blood fills out those veins on those wings, and guess what? It can fly. It's been reprogrammed. And it knows what it's got to do and go and find another butterfly. See? See the marvel? And we think we're clever. Have a think about that. And yet we're so easily fooled for some things that we think we're so clever. We've been fooled out of the idea that we live on a flat earth. I don't think the butterflies are quite that stupid. Catch you tomorrow, folks. Toolpip.